Hello Factorio people, welcome back to the broadcasts. I've not been extremely well this week. I mean, I'm never extremely well, let's be honest, but I've not been very well at all this week. So I'm expecting there to be a lot of mistakes in the builds, and I've been playing comfort food wise. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Where you play and you're not really paying any attention in the same way that you would be just watching a TV show and you're not really paying any attention. You're just sort of laser focused on turning your brain off. Anyway, so yes, forgiveness, please. I put some solar and some accumulators down because, as I was saying before, I was a bit concerned that this tiny little coal patch here is not really going to sustain the boilers for much longer, and the next nearest coal patch is it's up there. There is actually one hidden over here, as I later found out, but you know. So we've got some solar and some accumulators going down. I've been umming and ahhing quite a lot about what my expansion plans are, and as you'll see in some future some future save states, I probably have not done the best job of it. Oh, it's cold! I've opened my window for the first time. I want to say this year. Do you think that's correct? You know, it's been... personally, for me, I feel... I'm leaning outside the screen, by the way, just so I can hang my curtain. Oh, there we go. This is a very professional endeavour around here, just tying the curtain up to the thing, because it was blowing right in my face. It's very windy. I thought this winter was not, like, cold, you know. Like, obviously we've not had minus 50 degree temperatures. But it has been consistently chilly. But today was actually quite warm, so I opened my window, but it is really windy. It's really, really windy. Anyway, so this just builds some solar and some accumulators. It just plows along. I like to do this here, and then I would eventually upgrade this to like a logistics chest or something once we get that far. Or just put it straight on the bus for rocket launchers, but it's perfectly functional for now. Iron is starting to be a problem, and that is mostly everything I've done is trying to fix that iron problem. So let's jump forward in time slightly, shall we? Red belts. I want red belts. Yellow belts, they ain't cutting it anymore, Jerry. Problem with red belts is they absolutely eat through iron. Making red belts, one yellow belt is 1.5 iron plates, whereas one red belt is 11.5 iron plates. You do the math, even though I just did most of it for you. And that's before we even talk about the undergrounds and the splitters and stuff. So as you can see here, I put the belt mold down, which is a nice little blueprint I have in my masterclass thing. What I have self-indulgently called my masterclass thing. It can make blue belts as well. The pipes are all here for the lubricant, but as I say, I'm still umming and ahhing as to whether this is going to be the base or whether this is the starter base that I tear down at some point. And what's more likely to happen is I just keep throwing stuff on, Katamari style, and then eventually I'll be like, oh, I've won the game. Okay. So iron is certainly a problem. And iron is a problem. We're in this classic Factorio spiral now, where iron is a problem, power is a problem. We're not getting red science done because just this supply of iron is, you know, some of it's got to go to steel. We're on basic stone furnaces with yellow belts. You know, it's all just very slow. It's all very slow. Oh, I changed the research queue mod because this is a mod by I want to say Rightguard. This video is brought to you by Rightguard. That just changes the research queue slightly. It doesn't pause the game when you open it, and you can do cool things like, say you want to rush blue belts, for example. You can just double click blue belts and it queues everything you would need to do that. And that's why I installed it, because I was trying to rush robots. Even though, spoiler alert, I don't actually ever get to robots in this session. So yes, it's called Ultimate Research Queue, I believe. I rate it, it's good. It's a good mod. So iron is the problem. So obviously I've got my eye on this juicy 12 million iron patch over here. Power will then be a problem going forwards. Trains, you know, like we need a lot of infrastructure. We need infrastructure sorted yesterday. So let's see the next save file point, shall we, and see what I managed, if anything, to do about that. Probably nothing. I'm starting to think about trains, it would appear, at this point. I'm siphoning off some of the petroleum to make solid fuel to put into trains. And I've put some of the solar panels down. Let me slowly walk over here. Again, just to reiterate, I was very much anti-city blocks in this one. Not because I don't like them, not because I think they're bad, but I just wanted to do something a bit different, you know. Oh, my nose, I'm so sorry. Oh, dearie me, that's not becoming. So I've just got this very simple little blueprint tileable thing here with what is it? It's like this, you know. That is one section. That tiles quite nicely. Now I know what you're saying. Feel free to write it in the comments. Yo, idiot! That solar panel accumulator section is not a ratio at all, is it? And no, it's not. You're right. Solar panel accumulator ratio, in my opinion, is so belaboured. It only makes any sense to care if it is your entire electricity production. And even then, I really don't think you have. I really don't think anyone has to care too much about it. I have cared in the past. I've cared several times, in fact. I've got several slightly different solar panel grids here. This one's 548 and 460. And then I've got another one that is... oh, I don't know. Where is it? 683 and 568 that takes up slightly more of the grid section. You know, like... it has its place, of course, having solar panel ratio to accumulator ratio has its place, but when you're supplementing that power with boilers or 2 boiler stacks or whatever, like you don't really need to worry about it. You just want some extra power. Just plop down some solar panels and some accumulators. You can worry about the ratios later. That's the beauty of the solar panels and the accumulators, is that you just put them down, and then later on you pick them up and you put them down somewhere else. So I've put them here, in what science will later to go on to call a mistake. So I built the iron ore miner thing, and as I said, I think this was just a little bit too far away to use belts. This was definitely too close to use trains, but the amount of time and effort I put in to get trains to bring the iron ore to the base for this distance, I really feel like this was also close enough to warrant using belts. I spoke about this in a previous episode, the overhead of just putting that first lot of trains in. You got to make sure it's really worth it, and boy, I don't think this was really worth it at all. My train blueprints were always grid section aligned, city block aligned, I should say. Not that, that's really old. Here we go. They were always sort of grid section aligned. Wow, don't know what that is. And I thought, oh, I'll do one that's chunk aligned for a change, you know? And I thought, I didn't want to reinvent the wheel, you know? I thought I'd design them myself. They're only chunk aligned, right? Like, how hard can it be? Having used them for a bit, I'll skip forward in time a little bit more after this. Having used them for a bit, I'm not sure I like it. And I don't like it because the smart option, right, is to make sure that each individual chunk is foolproof. Yeah. But the problem we've got with that is that if you want to have a T section here that exists in one chunk, it just about fits, right, with all the signalling and stuff. Just about fits. But then your straight section, left-hand drive, obviously, left-hand drive is best-hand drive. Your straight section, I changed these signals here on the edges, but obviously this is a good example for why it doesn't really work. I suppose you could make the argument that you just get rid of these ones, but that seems like a recipe for disaster. But maybe that is just the solution, in fact. Maybe that is actually the solution. And you just say that the next straight section that this is attached to has the signals that you want, and even if it's a curve, right, you can say that that is fine. That's interesting. I only just thought of that right at that very moment. I might change that. Yeah, so I made some chunk aligned rail sections. You don't need a four-way intersection, okay? I'm very much the kind of guy who doesn't care about four ways. 3 ways is enough, alright? Why would you need any more than that? That's just greedy. No, that's obviously just a pun. I was trying to make you think of something that I wasn't actually talking about at all. 4-way intersections are messy, they cause a lot of problems, they're very easy to get wrong, they cause gridlocks, etc. If you just go with T-junctions, you're golden, right? So say a train needs to go north here instead. Just do this. Problem solved. Your train can go north, and you don't end up having loads of issues with gridlocks and roundabouts and all kinds of palavers like that. You could make a case for having a grid section that is... I did want to try this actually. Having a 4-way intersection... Sorry, no, I don't know if you saw that, I don't think you did. Battle.net decided that it was going to just pop up. Brief aside here, I'm playing Diablo 4 because it got free on Game Pass because I didn't pay for Diablo 4, I'm not a mug. Those reviews came out, I was like, I'm steering clear of that, thank you very much. But I have to integrate Battle.net and Game Pass on my PC at the same time. So my Ultimate Xbox Game Pass account thing, whatever we're calling it, links to Battle.net, and it is awful. It's the worst. They have done an absolute... Imagine having a game that is linked to a launcher that is then linked to another launcher. It breaks all the time. And yeah. Anyway, what was I talking about? Not quite a 4-way intersection, but why didn't I just use the curve? That's what I should have done. I should have just used the curve. I got so distracted. I'm ill, okay? Like, my brain is not functioning. It's quite common, quite popular to say only do left-hand turns, right? So you just have this, and you can have a 4-way intersection that then does that, right? So that'll go there, there, and there. So it's obviously not a 4-way intersection because this train... I have a train in my inventory yet. This train can't go this way from here. So, what's the point? And that's pretty good. That's a pretty good point you raised there. What is the point in building something like this if the train can't turn right? You may as well just do what I said before. Have 2 stacked T-junctions here, you know, one like this and one like this. And if the train needs to go south, it goes south here. And if it needs to go north, it needs to go north up there. You know? If you're building them in city block size... Oh, I'm sorry. If you're building the grid sections in city block size chunks, then fine, sure, go for it. But generally, I just try and avoid them. I don't think I've ever built I don't think I've ever had a successful mega base with four-way intersections. Obviously, this will change when 2.0 comes around and we get elevated rails and stuff. But you know, for now, I think I've just realised the wind is blowing straight into the microphone. That's frustrating. Okay, let's go a bit forward in time and I'll fix that during the interlude. So the rail sections are in. They're in. And yeah, as I say, I don't really like them because I built a station that was designed for 4 wagons and a what do we call them? 1 train and 4 cargo wagons. So now I had to stand up to close the window and sit back down. Now I'm really out of breath. This is how ill I am, guys. Hope you appreciate this. So the coal's coming in from up there. I picked this coal I found it as I was, as I put this iron ore in and put the radar down. It found this coal, and I was like, oh, that's convenient. I can just hook this up. And then, of course, I had the problem whereby I need iron to continue building the infrastructure. I can't just sort of start a bigger base now because I don't have enough iron in the starter base to make the infrastructure that I need. So I decided I would just bring iron ore in and smelt it here and inject it into the current base for us just to start with. 1 red belt is obviously 2 yellow belts, so I was just like, oh, that's okay. I can just bring in some iron ore and inject it into the existing bus, and then we'll be good. And then we can catch up, solidify our position, and move on from there. But yeah, as I've been saying constantly for the last 17 minutes, I'm not very well, and my brain is not really doing a very good job of any of this. So it turned into a bit of a mess, folks. Turned into a bit of a mess. So here's the coal. The coal is just about coming in now. There are a few biter bases a bit annoyingly close to this. I had some more thoughts on the defender capsules. I know last time I sung their praises and I was thinking about it. And they are just worse turrets, aren't they? But they are extremely worse turrets. If you put some turrets down for turret creep, let me do the defender captures right. These last 45 seconds. They cost 3 ammo magazines, and then they disappear forever, along with their 3 iron gear wheels and 3 electronic circuits. So take the 3 piercing round magazines out of the cost of that, because you would spend those anyway, whether you were using turrets or not. So take the 4 iron, the 5 copper, and the 1 steel out of here, and you're left with 17 iron, 14.5 copper, and 2 steel, which goes in the bin. And you arguably make gains because 1 defender robot might shoot for longer and do more damage than 3 piercing round magazines would. If I'm here holding space, you can see that these piercing round magazines, they go quite quickly. Has this defender robot shot more than 3 piercing round magazines at these enemies? I don't know. It did just absolutely get owned there. I can fire 10 of them at once at the moment, and even if I don't shoot at all, I can just focus on dodging. And this is mostly my point, right? Is that I can just focus on dodging. I don't really have to worry about doing all of quick, and then losing a turret that has 50 ammo in it because I wasn't paying enough attention. That's mostly why I use them. But I will concede that if you just use a turret and put ammo down in it, providing you don't really somehow get it extremely wrong, this is 100 times more efficient because you get the turret back. I mean, it's even easier with the nanobots on, because the nanobots will just repair them, you know? The nanobots are just repairing those turrets as they take damage, which is not something that really happens in a vanilla playthrough. You don't really have to. That one wasn't too fair because there weren't any worms here. Let's try it with worms, you know, like... I mean, clearly this is better. Like, clearly. I'm not even using even distribution to just put loads of ammo in the turrets very quickly. Maybe this is worse when bigger worms show up that have got a higher range than... Anyway, so, jury's out, folks. It's not out. Turrets are clearly better. 100 times. 100 times out of 100, I reckon, the turret would be better. So there we go. Yeah, so I clear those out. This is... Oh, there's no flipping... Well, let me just go. Let me just load the next iteration and show you, because there's not really much happens in between that. I think I just made that save point just before I cleared the biters, just to show an actual practical example of the defender capsules versus the gun turrets. And I think now that science has been achieved, yeah, just use the turrets, folks. I was wrong. I'll put my hands up there. Say I was wrong. You know, I'm capable of doing that most of the time. Alright, the trains are working. The trains function. Coal goes over here. This was a mistake. This needs to be fixed. This doesn't do much. And also I somehow missed these two miners. So you can see here the modular rail sections are working mostly okay. But down here, where things are very tight, it becomes a bit of a mess. Like, I hate this signalling. I hate it. This and this is a huge problem. Two T-junctions together, despite what I just spent 5 minutes talking about not using four-way intersections, because you can just put two T-junctions together. It doesn't really... Like, if I... Is there a way I can sort of force this to break if I send both of these off at the same time? I pressed the wrong button there. So this is obviously stuck here. This will get to this signal and then stop. But this train could, in theory, come this way if it wanted to. Yeah, brilliant. Good job, turrets. You really nailed it. Come on, just inch ever so further down, biters. You can do it. Come on. Destroy that one and then just come down a little bit, yeah? I'm so useless at the combat. I really thought they would go for the radar. I thought that was the point. They went for military targets first. Oh, they're from here. Oh, they're not from here, are they? These biters will definitely come this way. These must have just come down. I needed to put another pillbox up there. Anyway. I don't know whether this problem would solve itself if these two signals weren't here in what I just decided was the plan moving forwards. Where are you going? Why did you do that? Oh, you're coming... Oh, it's because I pressed go back to there and not go back to there. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so if these two signals weren't here as part of the blueprint, then this train would actually not ever leave here until this whole section was free. Until this signal was green. It would wait here. Which I certainly would prefer. Excuse me. Which I certainly would prefer, because I do feel like there is a non-zero chance of gridlock currently with this situation. Not with only two trains, but still. Oh, then I need to go and put a radar down. And so yeah, it kind of all got a little bit out of hand, as it so often does in Factorio, doesn't it? Where it's just sort of one thing is relying on another thing, which is relying on another thing, and then oh no, it's all broken. But one red belt of iron ore being injected into the bus has solved basically all the problems in the short term, at least. And as I say, this is still just a glorified science production facility, but it is now at least making lots of red belts. It's just catching up on red undergrounds. I used Mining Patch Planner here, and I used the simple layout type, which doesn't rely so much on undergrounds. You can see here that the module is very simple, like this, which is obviously it's not as efficient as this one. Wait, no, as this one, where the power poles are in amongst the miners, so you can fit more miners on the patch. But in my opinion, coal you don't need in such high volumes anyway, and when you first start out with red belts, spaffing 62 undergrounds on just making a mining patch ever so slightly more efficient, that's not where it's at, folks. 62 times 97.5, let's just say that that's 60 times 100. 6,000 iron plates. Do you want to be spending 6,000 iron plates on making coal ever so slightly more efficient, even though... I've proved my point. I've proved my point. So, I kind of hoped that I'd have done a lot more than this by now, and I guess, in a way, I've put the infrastructure in. It shouldn't now be too much of a problem to just sort of start bringing copper in, you know? Just expand this up and bring the copper in. And do another one of these. Maybe not exactly like this. This, as I say, ended up excuse me, ended up being a bit of a mistake. It's right in prime real estate. It might be that... Oh, here comes a train. Yay! It might be that this is also a very temporary solution while I just get the science and the mall doing everything that I want, so that I can maybe have 2 iron trains, one that comes over this way, and I start building a functionally bigger base in this space. And this is just for the purposes of the early game science and things, and especially when I get robots. But the plan going forwards is to research some more military things, the tank, and clear out some of these biters that are perilously close to coming for me. Which is everyone's least favourite part, going out and destroying biter bases. But it's also easier than building defences. You know, building defences around mining outposts is not where it's at for me. You know, like I could do a little... I suppose in theory I could do another chunk-aligned sort of thing. Especially when robots show up. If I get robots first, then maybe I could do something. But like for now it would be... You're still better off... Well, that's not quite right, is it? Turrets don't need ammo. The turrets do need ammo. That's misinformation. That's fake news. Turrets don't need power, is what I meant to say. So putting the ammo in the turrets is non-trivial, because you can do this and just load each turret with 200 ammo and just go, right, that'll do. But then when that runs out, it's a disaster. You obviously want a future-proofed solution. And of course the most future-proof solution is kill all the biters. Because when expansion's off in the railroad settings, that is the most future-proof solution you will get. Just make sure there are no biters around the things that you would like to not be attacked by biters. So I think that's probably the plan, is to just unlock the tank and research some more military things, and just spend an hour with some tunes on destroying the bases. And this is exactly why I didn't want to do a full Let's Play where I record absolutely everything I do, because that episode would just drive everybody away forever from probably the entire internet. They'd be like, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. That's enough internet for me. Oh, we're being attacked. Well, that kind of worked. Kind of worked. You put 200 ammo, if you don't know what this is, you put 200 ammo in this one, and then the turrets only take 10. Their arms only move 10 ammo from one turret to another. So like you just use this as a big glorified chest, basically. A 2x2 chest. Okay, so that was, how many hours of Factorio are we talking about since the last one? 3 hours. Okay, that's not bad for 3 hours, is it? Let's be fair, considering I was also ill. Did I do anything here? Oh, I did clear some bases, I think. I think I already did clear some bases. I just made another save file and didn't properly inform you of that. Did I? Maybe? I don't know. I've lost what's going on. I think, yeah, no, I did. I cleared this base, didn't I? And then I rejigged this. Oh, here we go, here we go. Nice. This biter base is the only one really that is potentially a problem. These two will be dealt with by this. If I understand how the biters work. It doesn't matter where the pollution is coming from. Once they are triggered by pollution, they just move in a straight line to the nearest hostile entity. Correct? You may say that might be incorrect. So even if this coal patch is producing a lot of the pollution because it's working the hardest, because this is closer, they will go there. I may be wrong on that one. And that's due to basically just inexperience with fighting the biters for any prolonged length of time. I usually get about 10, 12 hours into a save file and just go, this sucks, and command line it and get rid of them. But there we go. Anyway, yes, thank you so much for watching. I know this was a little bit longer, even though these are ostensibly supposed to be short-form content. But I had a lot to say, and I'm rambling because I'm ill. As I've mentioned, I don't know if you heard me mention that before. So yeah, please let me know how you feel about what's going on with a like or a comment, and if you want to see more Factorio, be sure to subscribe. Other than that, thank you so much, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.